So we did the distributive property, and now we're going to kind of do this thing that looks almost like the distributive property in reverse. And this is called factoring the expression. So writing a numerical or algebraic expression as a product of factors is called factoring the expression. Make sure you are filling in your notes with me. Okay? To do this, first you find the GCF. So make sure you write that in, the GCF of the numbers in the expression. If you remember, that means greatest common factor. We learned how to do this doing factor trees and circling the numbers they have in common, but I'm going to be giving you numbers that are small enough that you could probably figure it out in your head. So the biggest number that goes into two or more numbers. Once you find the GCF, you write that number on the outside of the parentheses. After that, you fill the inside of the parentheses with what you would multiply the GCF by to get the original numbers. Okay, so let me show you an example of what I mean. For example, 18 minus 48f. So we want to find the largest number that can multiply to get 18, that can also multiply to get 48. So that ends up being 6. So you take the GCF, in this case 6, and you write it on the outside of a pair of parentheses. Then you fill in the parentheses with what you would multiply, in this case 6 by, to get the original numbers. So I have to get to 18. 6 times 3 is 18, so I'm going to put a 3. Then I have to get to 48. 6 times 8 is 48. And there happens to be a variable, so you just put the variable next to your answer. There's a subtraction between two of them, so you just bring the subtraction down into your answer. So that's your final answer, 6 times 3 minus 8f. Okay, let's try another one. 24 plus 36. The biggest number that goes into 24 that also goes into 36 is 12. So that's the greatest common factor. So you're going to pull out the 12, put it on the outside of a pair of parentheses. Now figure out what times 12 gives us 24. That's 2. So that's where this is coming from. What times 12 gives us 36? That's 3. Bring down the plus sign. So I get 12 parentheses 2 plus 3. So I want you to pause and try these two, and then when you're done, press play and see how you did. Okay, so if you're watching this, that means you just press pause and you try these. So let's take a look. I need the largest number that goes into 16 that also goes into 20. That would be 4. So I'm going to put 4 for my GCF. Okay? Now I have to figure out what times 4 is 16, which is 4. Bring down the plus sign. Figure out what times 4 is 20. That's 5. And my parentheses. That's your final answer. Okay? Factoring the expression. Let's try 18f plus 30. So the largest number that goes into 18 that also goes into 30 is 6. So there's my greatest common factor. 6 times 3 is 18. There's a variable attached, so I just carry on the variable with it. Bring down the plus sign. 3 goes into 30 10 times. Close my parentheses. So that's your final answer. Okay, so let's try some from the book. Okay, so let's try this example from the book. So it's saying that we want to do 20 minus 12 using the GCF. I don't know where this came from, so I'll just erase that. So let's try a list. So we have to find the largest number that goes into 20 that also goes into 12. So if I figure out my factors of 20, the largest one that goes into 20 that goes into 12 is 4. So that's going to be my GCF. Put it on the outside of a pair of parentheses. Figure out what times 4 is 20. That would be 5. This time there's a minus, so put a minus. 4 times 3 is 12, so we'll put a 3. So that's your final answer. So let me give you guys one to try. It's called factoring the expression. So you're going to try this one. So I want you to write out 20 plus 8 on your paper and then show me the factoring the expression. So put the GCF on the outside and on the inside, whatever it takes to multiply to get the original 20 and 8. Okay, so pause and try this one. All right, let's take a look at this one. It says, which expression is not equivalent to 16x plus 24? So they're giving us a couple of distributive properties, and they want us to do the distributive property and see which one doesn't belong. Okay, so let's try some of these. Oh, looks like my answers already came up for some reason, so let me just try this. All right, so let's take a look. The first one, we want to multiply 2 times everything on the inside of the problem. Okay, so let me just move this so I can write. All right, so 2 times 8x is 16x. 2 times 12 is 24. Bring down the plus sign. So far, 16x plus 24, that matches. Let's try the next one. 4 times 4x is 16x. 4 times 6 is 24. Bring down the plus sign. So that one matches. Try this one. 6 times 3 is 18x. 6 times 4 is 24. Bring down the plus sign. So this looks like this is going to be the one that doesn't belong. But let's just double check. This is written backwards, but you do it the same way. 8 times 3 is 24. And then do it this way. 8 times 2 is 16x. Bring down the plus sign. So this part C here is the only one that's different. The rest are all different ways of factoring the expression. Some are using the GCF and some are just using common factors. But either way, this is the one that doesn't belong. So I want you to try this one. It says it's 15x plus 35 equivalent to 5 times 3x plus 7. There's two ways you can do this. You can factor the expression by finding the GCF, pulling it out and factoring this out, or you could do the distributive property this way and see if you get this for an answer. So pause and try that one. Here's an example of where you could see this kind of like in the real world. So it says you receive a discount on each book you buy for your electronic reader. The original price of each book is X dollars. You buy 5 books for a total of 5X minus $15. Factor the expression. What can you conclude about the discount? Okay, so we have 5x minus 15. They want us to factor this out. So we have to find the greatest common factor of 5 and 15. So the largest number that goes into 5 that also goes into 15 is 5. So I'm going to pull that out. Now, 5 goes into 5 once, and there's a variable, so we'll just put the letter. Technically, you don't have to put the 1 if you don't want to if there's a variable, but I will just to make it easier. Bring down the minus. 5 goes into 15 3 times. So it says, what can you conclude about the discount? Well, you bought 5 of these books, and it says X minus 3. They were each discounted. So that's telling you that each book was $3 cheaper than it normally is. So it was on sale for $3 off the price of a book. Okay? So let me give you one to see if you can try. This is going to be your last one. It says you receive a discount on each song you purchase for your MP3 player. The original price of each song is X dollars. You purchased 3 songs for a total of 3x minus $6. Factor the expression, so find the GCF, put it on the outside of the parentheses, fill in the inside. What can you conclude about the discount? So try this just like the one that I did. So this is the last one that you're going to do.